Hello, everyone. My name is Dale Kilgour. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm presenting from the unceded territory of the Okanagan and Squamish Nations. I have just completed my BA in Health and Community Services with an area of focus in disability. The placement I have chose for my final practicum in Health and Community Services is with CRIS Adaptive, which stands for Community Recreational Initiative Society, also known as CRIS Adaptive Adventures here in Kelowna, BC. CRIS Adaptive was founded in 2001 by Troy and Lynette Becker as a way to provide services to Lynette's sister, who due to her disability required additional equipment and support to access outdoor recreation. The mission of CRIS Adaptive is to provide access to the outdoors for people with disabilities by providing staffing and equipment to the community through a variety of programs such as hiking, snowshoeing, cycling, and cross-country skiing. Throughout the placement with CRIS Adaptive, my role has been a unique blend of providing direct program support and undertaking administrative tasks which further the aims of the organization. I'll be using these learning goals as a framework to share my knowledge that I've gained throughout the practicum. My first goal for this practicum was to show competency in selecting and utilizing various adaptive equipment to support clients in accessing recreation. Throughout my time supporting programs directly, I've learned how to individualize and maintain a variety of different adaptive equipment, in addition to implementing equipment during programs with clients. I've been trained on a trail rider, which is a hiking mobility aid, pulks, which are a snowshoe / cross-country ski mobility aid, which you can see pictured on the right, a sit ski, which is a cross-country ski mobility aid designed for self-propulsion, and numerous adaptive bicycles, such as trikes, tandem bikes, etc. Each piece of equipment requires online and in-person training, in addition to thorough training in program policies and lifts and transfers. Once competency is shown in utilizing each piece of equipment, I am then able to take on the role of selecting suitable equipment for the specific client in regard to their accessibility needs and goals. This also includes adapting equipment to the specific client's needs, that may include sideboards, foam cushions, pillows, straps, whatever the client needs to be successful in that activity. My second goal in this practicum experience was to show competency in providing accessible recreation activities for clients through providing direct support in activities. This would include hiking, snowshoeing, and cross-country skiing. I will now describe my typical approach for providing programming. Programming is something I'm incredibly passionate about, and so I was really happy to be able to do this in my practicum. So most often, programming begins with providing education to the client about how the equipment can be utilized, ensuring their goals and support needs are understood, and asking any additional questions regarding health and safety. Quite often in our school groups, we found that we would be notified that, hey, a participant needs to use this kind of equipment, but then we show up and the participant actually wanted to try using a more typical type of equipment. So really making sure that their needs are front of mind and that others are not projecting their disability onto them. From there, I support the client in transferring into the equipment and provide individualized support as needed, as mentioned. This goal goes hand in hand with the previous goal about equipment knowledge. Once all safety checks are complete and staff members feel comfortable to begin, the program starts. This typically involves physically using a pulk, trail rider, sit ski, or cycle to support the client. During the program, I check in with them to ensure comfortability and engagement in the activity. Once the activity has ended, there is opportunity for a debrief and to learn about the client's experience and future goals for other programs. Some activities I supported clients include all the ones listed on the slide, in addition to nature walks. We have a partnership with the Regional District of Central Okanagan Parks Department, who provide nature guides during walks, which has been a great opportunity to learn about the cultural significance of numerous plants to local Indigenous practices, in addition to education surrounding vulnerable species. I also directly led expeditions in snowshoeing and cross-country skiing, which were a huge area of growth for me, as I had never done either of those activities previously, much less leading expeditions on my own. My third and final goal was to gain understanding and support in the mission, structures, and functions and operations of a nonprofit organization. In my time providing administrative support, I am often updating the primary, volunteer, and other databases, in addition to organizing information, creating marketing materials, and attending to other needs of the organization as directed. This role has required learning multiple databases for clients and volunteers, in addition to increased skills in Excel, Canva, and other web-based programs. Some key values and knowledge areas: a personal value that directly aligns with the value of partnerships and people of population served is the concept of completing actions with the person being supported instead of for the person. This concept was prevalent in Health 405, as there was an ongoing focus on the sense of burden that can be placed on people with disabilities when the actions of others are done for them, instead of acknowledging that the person with the disability as a willing participant in their care and well-being. On one occasion, I was supporting a student in a school-based cross-country program who had previously worked with in a different setting. The student and I were able to reminisce about our previous program, and I utilized the relationship we had built to support her in cross-country skiing. She had never done the activity self-propelled and was quite nervous about it, and I was able to encourage her and give support during challenging sections while acting as a friend throughout the activity. The importance of this experience was the completion of the activity as peers and not as a service I provided on her behalf. This continued to build relationships and partnerships between the client and the staff, but also the client and their community. Through being in this experience, the participant also got to engage with their school group that they were attending the program within. So it was just layers upon layers of community and support. This related very closely with the knowledge areas of improving health and reducing health inequities and addressing the social and life course determinants of health. Building relationships and friendships can have profound benefits on mental health, and with those connections in sport being made and connection being made in sport and recreation in childhood, it is likely to benefit their physical health as well. I chose this call to action as it relates directly with my practicum work and is within my scope of practice in sport and recreation. Chris Adaptive works to promote access for Indigenous people with disabilities through bursary programs, which I plan to continue supporting by volunteering upon completion of my practicum placement. I will also work to reduce barriers to sport participation through my career and current work with BC Easter Seals, which also provides bursaries for Indigenous participants. In my work with BC Easter Seals, we are currently working to engage multiple disability sport organizations, which would offer an opportunity for Indigenous participants with disabilities to grow their relationship and connection to sport and recreation. Some insights about my program. This is my favorite part. The most valuable experience for my practicum placement was supporting children during school programs and enabling access to outdoor recreation within peer groups. There's one trip specifically where we were supporting a participant who had an illness that caused physical decline, and the participant was quite disheartened that it was not possible for them to snowshoe typically and how they had in the past with their peer group. With that said, the Chris team brought a variety of accessible equipment for him to choose from, and we were then able to encourage interaction with the activity by encouraging his peers to participate in with the accessible equipment as well, and going on off-trail adventures to address the portions of the activity he enjoyed most, which in this context included going over bumps, rushing downhill, and pranking others by dumping snow on them unsuspectingly. The biggest area of growth was in the realm of communication skills within the field of disability. I had the opportunity to engage with personal support workers and families to learn new communication strategies and improve my skills with communication devices. If I were to change anything about this experience, I would state my own ideas earlier and with more confidence, as I have relevant experience to offer suggestion or guidance to others. I was surprised by the different types of equipment that could enable a variety of different outdoor activities and how easily they can be adapted. Chris Adaptive has nearly a dozen different kinds of accessible bikes, all of which serve a different unique accessibility need. Finally, my proudest moment was my skill development in winter recreational activities. I'm still new to the region. I didn't grow up experiencing snow sports, so I had been quite nervous at times, especially in steep downhills. But now I'm far more comfortable in backcountry alpine contexts, and I've gained substantial knowledge in supporting others in a variety of challenging environments as well. Finally, I'd love to say a big thank you to the whole team at Chris Adaptive, to all the clients for sharing their experience with me, and to my professors and classmates for creating such a wonderful learning environment. Thank you all so much for listening.